morning, good afternoon, depending where you are, WRLA members. We're delighted to have you join us today for our webinar that is launching our job board. I just really want to remind you that the job board that we've developed, along with some of the new courses that you would have seen through our e-news on the building material fundamentals, are free to members who have renewed their membership with us. All of these are really intended to help you with your recruitment and retention needs, both from a promotional piece, but also from a training perspective, and to help with some of your onboarding as you're bringing on some new staff. So thank you so much for joining us. I see a few familiar faces and a few names that I haven't seen, so really excited to have you join us. I do have with me today Chris Allenot. He is on our marketing team. He is our resident expert on the job board. So later, as we go through everything, if you have any questions, he'll help me answer them if I don't actually have the answers. He's trusted me with the keys to the Ferrari of presenting this. So thanks so much for that. We're going to dive in right away, but really quickly, we do have a poll for you that we wanted to quickly find out how familiar you are with our Let's Go Build campaign. So we just posted the poll, and if you don't mind answering, that would be great. We just want to get an idea of what membership experience has been on the Let's Go Build side. Okay. All right, well, thank you for that. I'm going to now share my screen so that I can pull up my presentation. So the purpose of today is to really go through some of the things that we've been working on. So Let's Go Build is the public awareness campaign to bring to the surface the careers that are available and the pathways of careers that are available in the lumber and building materials industry. We just closed our first year, or coming up on closing our first year, so wanted to do a really quick review of where we're at on the attracting talent initiatives, how we've performed on the Let's Go Build side. I do want to talk about Let's Go Build Phase 2, and in that section, we're going to dive in on how you can use the job board and also how we're looking to drive some traffic to the job board as well to add as much value as possible. And of course, we've got some time for questions and discussions, and happy to take your questions and of course, any feedback that you might have for us. So Phase 1 really started with a labor study, and no different than if you're working on a new marketing campaign or whether you're looking to make some changes in your store, there's always going to be a research phase of the project. And over the years, I've been now with the WRLA for 7.5 years. I'm not really sure where the time went, but throughout that time period, we've had lots of conversation about the industry itself, how when people enter the industry, they never really leave. And so we've also talked about how we've got an aging industry and we need to be able to attract more youth. So we've had a lot of conversations that are anecdotal, but we really need to dive into what the actual data is. Which we're going to talk about very briefly. I don't want to get into too much detail, but wanted to give you a few highlights. It really did help spur and validate the fact that we need to have a public awareness campaign for this industry. People will not apply for jobs they don't know exist, and we need to make sure that we are on the radar. And then we're going to show you a little bit of the performance stats because we're pretty happy with how the campaign itself has performed in its first year. So a few key demographics and stats. We do have a breakdown of what the percentages of male, female in various age groups are working. There's a couple of really stark stats that came out of this for us. One is that 63% of employees that come into the sector leave the sector altogether. We always talk about how once you get in, you never leave. We're realizing we might not have done as good of a job as we think we have. So this is something that really is an important stat for us that we need to focus on and make sure we're spending some energy and looking at strategies to address. We can't do it alone. We need to do this with our members, but we now have the data to back up what we need to be doing in that front. We've also learned that 20% of the industry is retiring over a 5-year period. And if you look at the actual demographics, and if you dive into our labor study, which the link for it is on our website, you'll notice that a lot of those folks are in more senior positions, and we need to make sure we're doing a better job of training and developing and making sure we can backfill and pass on some of that knowledge that those folks have gained over the years. So key conclusions that came out of the study for us, which really are going to help the WRLA focus in on activities we need to embark on to support our members. The main one was we really need to aggressively expand our target pools, and we have to create some awareness, and we need to do that together. And that's where our Let's Go Build campaign really became an important public facing program so that we can start to get the careers that are available in this industry and the pathways that exist out in the public realm. We do need to revisit the remuneration at entry levels. We're losing a lot of people at the entry level, and over the course of my time, I've had various conversations with dealers in different regions, and they've said, Liz, we're losing people for $1 or $2 an hour more to something else that doesn't necessarily have the same opportunity or pathway for them to grow. And that's something where we want to do a better job of painting the map of what you could potentially look like. Maybe you're making $1 or $2 less now, but you could be exceeding that significantly if you stick with the program that you're currently in. So we need to make sure we're doing a better job of promoting some of those opportunities. We need to work together to increase the sector, again, back to the Let's Go Build. And we also need to do a much better job of training, both formal and informal. And this is where the building materials fundamentals courses, which I mentioned at the beginning, are free to your members, really are the opportunity to help your new staff understand the industry, understand some of the building materials. It takes the load off your plate, puts the accountability on them to go through the process on the online learning, and then it builds a solid foundation for them to grow from. And of course, if you've got some newcomers to Canada who might have a language barrier, perfect opportunity for them to start getting a little bit more acquainted with the program as well. So enter Let's Go Build. And for those of you who answered no to the poll at the beginning, this is really the branding of the Let's Go Build campaign. It's bright, it's fun, and we really wanted to make sure that it was engaging. How we've deployed this program was really through a barrage of channels. So we did have the initial social media piece. We were present in a lot of various social media platforms. LinkedIn was a really important one for us. And we also learned that TikTok was another one of those pieces. And everything that we did was meant to complement each other, because our target market is not just one group, it's multiple groups. And the campaign was really designed to touch all of those mediums to make sure that every audience, whether you're in your mid-50s and you might be looking for career transition, let's say you were in the oil and gas and energy sector and now you need to look for something new, we want to make sure that whatever platforms those folks are consuming information on, we're getting touch points on the Let's Go Build campaign. This means we also had some traditional media in the mix. We did print, online, magazine, newspaper. I was on several podcasts as well. So we had the opportunity really to get this industry on the map through a lot of different mediums. Just really quickly just so that people get the visuals, this is what the Let's Go Build piece looks like. It's the colorful website that we have, and we do have a Let's Go Build website, and we're working on building that connection to the WRLA page as well. This just highlights some of the social media platforms that we were on, obviously the mediums of traditional media, and of course we can't show the pictures of the podcast that we hosted, but we tried to get every medium, whether it was through YouTube videos, podcasts, print media, social media. We wanted to make sure we hit all of those pieces. We did also start off, and our goal was to have a job board from the get-go, but our dream was limited by the financial resources that we actually had to be able to make it happen. So we knew that we wanted to get to a job board place that we're going to be showing you shortly, but we needed to start somewhere. And so we did have a job portal that really did connect potential job seekers to the websites of our members. We discovered that over 100 of our members didn't actually have a website. So we had no opportunity to really promote those folks. And I believe our communications team might have reached out to those people to host a webinar just to go over the importance of having that digital presence. So this was sort of the entry level. We wanted to make sure that it was a little bit more user-friendly, as this was a fairly cumbersome process. Now, how we've done in the last year in terms of social media and our target audience, and we can't really measure the print audience, but we did a really great job in terms of getting attraction to our Let's Go Build campaign through our digital resources. And we had over 2 million hits, which all of us were really surprised about. We didn't expect to see those types of numbers, but We certainly had some paid media. We invested a significant amount of money. The lump sum was massive. I think the whole campaign was over a $300,000 campaign. But when we break it down per member, it worked out to be about $250 to $300 per member. And there's no way for the $300 anyone can develop a campaign to this extent. So this is the reason why we felt really strongly about putting this forward for members. And we can see the success in some of the numbers, and we're going to continue to look at those and continue to expand those because we're not happy with the status quo. We want to make sure we're continuing to grow our programs. So we're now in phase 2 of the Let's Go Build campaign. And what that means for us is we recently received a grant from the Alberta government. So thank you, Alberta government, for supporting our industry with the funding they've provided us. They're giving us the opportunity to hire a new staff person, which is a workforce development coordinator. You might have seen the job posted on our website. And this individual is truly going to be a boots to the ground, working with our members, getting out to various organizations, schools, working on career fairs, internships, any sort of in-person event that we can bring job seekers to is what this individual is going to be responsible for. So we're really pleased to have this grant. A lot of work went into that, but they're validating the work that the WRLA is doing on behalf of this industry. So we're really committed to making this a success. Step 2 is the industry-specific job board, and this is something we're looking to build and drive more traffic to, and something that we're going to be featuring once we get out into the field when it comes to the actual career fairs itself. And step 3, which is also in process, we're in the process of updating all of our collateral. So the collateral we had was great for phase 1. We now have to elevate what phase 2 looks like. And as I mentioned earlier, we really want to be able to paint the picture of what the pathways look like. Some of you who might be on this call might be that individual who started when you were really young. I spoke with a dealer today who is celebrating their 50th anniversary of their store. He was 13 when he started working there. So to be able to, take some of those stories of where people started maybe at an entry level and how they've built themselves into an entrepreneur is going to be a lot of fun to share. And we have so many great stories of other members. So we want to get those out in the public and have those features out there. We're also going to be working on industry-specific career fairs. We're going to be working with some more newcomer agencies, and we've already had some initial meetings to talk about some formal internships that we can offer to our members. So stay tuned for some of those opportunities. Now, with the membership portal, the first step really is to log into your account. And if you have not logged into your WRLA account in the past, please just reach out to our office. We'll be happy to connect you with how to get you set up. However, if you already have been set up, all you need to do is log into your account, which is step 1. Step 2 is to hover your cursor over the member area. There is a post a job option that you can then click on, and this is just a screenshot of it, but you're welcome to follow along on the WRLA website as I'm going through this if you'd like that. It'll remind me to talk a little bit slower because I tend to be a runaway train. And step 3 is where you have the option to fill out the fields. There are some important components that need to be included in this part, and the close date is one of them. Once you add a close date, the job will get removed off the site once that date passes. So this is something that you might want to pay attention to. If you have to make a change to the date, we can work with you on how to make those edits. But if you have a close date of, let's say, April the 30th, once April the 30th hits, then the posting will come down automatically so that you don't need to go back to delete them. And it makes it a little bit easier for us administratively. When it comes to the there are some fields that are not mandatory, but if you look at the salary range, this is something that's becoming more common for people to post, is what the range might potentially look like. It helps job seekers understand if this is something that's in the realm of where they're currently at, if it's a little bit higher. And it also helps us collect some salary data as well. We are often asked to provide a wage guide to our members, and the only way we've been able to collect that information up until now is through surveys. And we found that the surveys are not really reflective of the entire industry. We might, out of our 1,100 plus members, we might only get 90 responses. And oftentimes they're organizations of different categories. And now we're comparing apples to grapefruits to bananas, and it's not the same. So in order for us to do a better job of collecting this, we have put this in there. It's just an option. If you're not comfortable, then you don't have to fill that part out. When it comes to step 3, there's a couple of things we want to be mindful of. In the section here where it has a job description field, we advise that you only put the introduction of the job in this section. And when I show you what the actual job postings look like, you'll understand why. Otherwise, it will take up a significant amount of space, and we are looking for a little bit of consistency in the look and feel of the postings themselves. So we do ask that you include just the introduction piece. Then you have the option to attach the entire job description. And the 2 preferred formats are definitely going to be PDF or a Word document, just because those will translate really well into the back end of the job board. Once you have this up, the WRLA team will receive a notification that states that we have a job that needs to be approved. Our team will go in, make sure that the document is attaching to the correct job. We'll make it go live. And then from there, you'll have the ability to share it on whatever platforms that you have. And to make sure that we're doing our job on sharing the platforms, we are also launching a new program as part of our phase 2, and it's called Job of the Week. And the intent of this is to really highlight the various categories of work that exists in the industry. So for example, one week we might showcase a plant manager type position. We might showcase what yard and warehouse management might potentially look like. And so we've got well over 1,000 occupations in this industry that we can highlight. So our intent is really to highlight what some of those major categories are, and then drive people to the job board as well. And I know our team is also working on some sponsorship opportunities to help elevate this piece as well. So stay tuned for some more information on that piece. So essentially, if I look at what we're doing on an attracting talent front, we sort of have 3 key prongs that we're really working on. And Let's Go Build is really the first phase. Getting that career awareness piece out was extremely important. Having member engagement with that is even more important. So the more of us that are spreading the word, the more that we're getting the word out about the industry. And I always use a Spider-Man analogy. It's like when Venom sort of takes over, but in a good way. We want to create that spread and the reach of the industry. We now have the job board, which really does support the Let's Go Build. So as we're using Let's Go Build and our promotional pieces, we're driving traffic to the job board as well, so that folks can find what careers might be available in their region. There might be some folks also looking to relocate, especially in a time like right now where housing is not necessarily affordable everywhere, and folks are looking to move into the prairies a little bit more. And then, of course, the job of the week is that third prong that's really going to help support the additional promotion and getting the opportunities out, as well as starting to showcase some of those pathways. So we are far from finished in terms of promoting this industry and getting the great opportunities out there, which in the end, we really want to help all of you. Your businesses help to build communities, and we want to make sure we're there to support you as much as we possibly can. And so to get involved, you can follow us on social media. You'll see some of the shares that we had. These are some of the initial marketing pieces that we did launch. We really do try to feature members as much as possible. We're not huge fans of stock photos here. So if you do have great photos at some point in time that you want to add to our arsenal, by all means, reach out to Chris on our marketing team. I know he'll be happy to have those. So this kind of concludes the presentation part, but we wanted to make sure that we open things up for any questions that you might have, or if you have any comments that you might want to share with us as well. Thank you.
I mean, can I add a quick comment, Liz?
Absolutely.
So I know part of the traffic with phase 1 is we were able to direct. So I know the math was a little hard to follow, but with unique visitors, there were 500,000 people who visited the website. And what that translates to is that with 2 million visitors to the website, that means we were getting repeat users. So in phase 2, what we're doing is we're actually adding in conversion tracking. So we will actually have some data on what people are actually clicking through, how long they're sitting on job boards and stuff like that. In addition to, we have a pretty aggressive goal of 15% growth of driving traffic to this website as well.
So Kelvin had a great question. What will the turnaround be on the posting? It'll be within a 24 to 48 hour period. And we say that because if it comes in on a Friday, we may not see it until Monday. Thank you, Kelvin. And thanks for the additional comments, Amanda. Is there an email for connecting regarding login information? Oh, yes. You know what? I will. Brenda, do you want me to put your contact information in?
Sure can.
Okay. It's B Burns, right?
Yeah.
I rely too much on copy and paste. There we go. Hey, any other questions? And was this helpful for you? Hey.
I think it's really good. I like the continuity between everything, and I see the value of being able to post something and have it go all the way through, and then maybe you can attract members within an industry that are looking to move and being able to get internal talent that's in the industry. So
Awesome. Thank you for that, Kelvin. Okay, well, if we have no further questions, no further comments, we're here. If you ever have any questions for us, we're here to support you. And if you're having any issues, just let us know. I'll also put Chris's contact in here, just because he has been our resident expert on troubleshooting any issues as well. So I've included that in the chat as well if you wanted to reach out to him. But if there are no other questions, then we'll give you back the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining us. We are delighted to have you and wish you continued success and have a great week.